Hi grade 12s, hello again. Next section we're on is rural settlement. So just a recap on what we had a look at last time was the settlement patterns. I need you to be able to differentiate between pattern and shape. We're going to have a look at shape now. But if you look at this pattern, isolated or dispersed, and then nucleated or clustered. The reasons for it are numerous. Physical reasons, social reasons like cultural, political, so on. As far as physical factors are concerned, the type of soil that there is, drainage, whatever it is they're farming with, there can be so many differences. But what you really need to know is that there are these two types. So here's a nice slide of the advantages and disadvantages of these two settlements. So advantages, the nucleated one, more interaction with people. It's safer because there are more people around you. You can share ideas and even share costs of the use of your machinery and that for the actual farming. Remember for these, if it's an advantage for the one, it's normally a disadvantage for the other. As far as the dispersed settlement is concerned, there's more privacy, but then again there's not enough interaction with people, and we have definitely see with our social distancing now that interaction with people is something we miss. However, you can make your own decisions. All the profit is your own because it's your own farm. It's just you that's farming there, and better use of machinery and tools. The thing is that you have to pay for everything by yourself, so there's no shared costs there. Right, I think that's it. So now we go to shape. That was pattern, now shape. Now, as far as shape is concerned, we've got linear, circular, and then T-shape or crossroads. So if we look at this linear shape, normally along roads, rivers, sometimes even the topography, we saw with that activity that we did the other day that having the road on the one side and the steep mountain on the other side meant that the settlement formed into a linear shape. Circular shaped villages in Europe, it is normally around a church square or something like that, the town square. But in South Africa, it's sort of a typical rural Zulu village was like that. And they kept the kraal with the cattle in the middle so that they could defend it, they could look after it. T-shaped or crossroad is just that. It's normally where a road crosses. It's an intersection there. And this settlement sort of develops out along the roads. It's almost like two linear shapes going out there. Next up, we've got land use, rural land use. Remember, in rural areas, we're looking at the primary function, so that's fishing, farming, forestry, and sometimes mining. But in South Africa, definitely the biggest rural land use is agriculture. And of course, we've been blessed with a climate that goes all the way from a tropical sort of climate in KwaZulu-Natal through to a dry winter and summer rainfall region in the middle, in the biggest part of the country, all the way to a winter rainfall down in the Western Cape. So as far as crops are concerned and livestock, we have numerous different ones that we can farm within this country. Things that would dictate what farming happens is obviously the climate, the type of soil that's there, vegetation, the availability of water is a huge thing. Without water, crops are not going to do it. And then proximity to markets. This is something that we don't think about often, but I want to bring your attention to it. An example here is if you were a dairy farmer, you would need to be pretty close to a urban centre or a bigger rural centre so that you could deliver your produce, the milk, every day. It's not something that you can keep for a long time. It's something that needs to be delivered quickly. Okay, so also these two pictures depict the two different types of agriculture that we've got. The bottom one here, we have got a massive farm. The farmer here it looks like he's spraying his crops with a tractor. So this is a commercial farm, farming for profit. On the other hand, on this side here, we've got a tiny little, almost a veggie patch, all kinds of different vegetables growing here. This would be more a subsistence type of farm, where the farmer is only farming for the needs of his own family. So we look at the differences here, the major differences. I said subsistence farmer, it's for his immediate family. It doesn't take a lot of money. There's not a huge capital input, whereas a commercial farmer has got a huge capital input to start up. The subsistence farmer, almost no mechanization at all. They definitely use more labor-intensive traditional methods, whereas the commercial farmer has to use machinery because of just the sheer size of the farm, and technology is widely used. Small farms, subsistence, and commercial farms are really, really big farms. Down at the bottom here is a note that I want you to look at. Extensive farming and intensive farming. Two terms that come up, and I've seen it in the exam papers where they like to ask you what the difference is between these two. So just have a look. Extensive farming is sort of mixed farming. It could be crops and livestock, or even a couple of different crops. The yield per hectare is low. That means that per hectare farm that the farmer has, he doesn't get that much crop back. Intensive farming is where a farmer specializes in just one crop. It can be, for example, just sunflowers or just mealies. And this has a high yield per hectare. So per hectare of ground that is used, you get a lot of the crop back. You need to know these two terms. And that's it. Thank you.